Hello, Chris and
Hi,
Jay Shimataji.
Ganesha Atharva. Hi, Daniel. Yeah.
Hello, everybody, the people who are watching us, and we thank you for that. We are Chris Marlow and Daniel Boston again with you, continuing the conversation around the translation of Ganesha Atharva Sheersha by Chris Marlow. We are using the third edition, which is available on Lulu and multiple other platforms. You can find it online as well, but I strongly recommend you to buy it because it's good to have it in your hand. Otherwise, you have to use your computer or your telephone, which I don't like it, but some people looks like more and more using the telephone for this kind of stuff. So, Chris, we managed last week to talk about 6 verses of Ganesha Atharva Sheersha. We
Yeah,
are
the first half, we can
the
say.
first half of Ganesha Atharva Sheersha. We remind you that it's a classification or it's a strata of verses. So there are 10 verses in Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, each verse with its own signification. We will talk again maybe a little bit about that, but for the moment, let's go for the verse 7, and I will share it with you on the screen to be easy to follow. So we are here.
Okay.
This verse, you said that it's Ganesha Bija Mantra Gam. Like you used to give titles to the verses, which is good because you know what it's about in that verse. Can you develop a little bit? What do you mean by Bija Mantra Gam?
Okay. So the verse is essentially describing the last line, which is Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha, which is a very commonly used mantra. I mean, we live next to a Devi temple, and they say this mantra every morning many times. And I've seen it, all over India. I've seen it even printed on wall tiles in Pune railway station, and it's a powerful mantra. So, Shrimataji says, that one of the interesting things about Sanskrit is that every letter is a mantra. Every Devanagari letter is a mantra. So gum seems very simple, but actually it's what should we say? It's a very fundamental bija mantra. So bija mantras, we know they're sort of single sounds, single letters, which have some power, some significance, with not necessarily any actual meaning. So gum is called the Sri Ganesha Bija mantra, and it very much activates the Muladhara chakra and the whole kind of foundation. When you say gum, you can feel the whole of where you're sitting, the left and right side and the center sort of getting activated, and it creates this sort of very solid foundation. And actually other like when we say the swaras, the musical notes, sa, re, ga, ma, pa. Again, sa is left, right, re is right side, ga activates this Sushumna Nadi in the central channel. Or like a name of Sri Vishnu, the name Govinda. When you say Govinda, again, the Go is the earth, Go is earth. So it feels again like this solid foundation for the Sushumna Nadi. So it's a powerful mantra. So Om is obviously used at the beginning of every mantra, and then Gum is the bija. But then it's quite interesting. Ganapatiye Nama actually works on all the chakras in the Sushumna Nadi. So Ga is Muladhara, Na is Nabi, and then Pa is the heart. It's the Sri Parvati, or the Pa means protection. So it's like Sri Durga. Ta is Tara, the savior, Sri Krishna. Ye is Jesus, Yeshu. There clears the Agya. And Nama, as usual, is for the Sahasrara. So it's a very powerful mantra. You say Om Gam Ganapati Namaha, and it takes you right up through the chakras into Sahasrara. So
speaking about that, I have to tell you and to people who listen to us that I shouldn't say that. You should say that because you have more authority than me. That it's a mantra who have to be used. It's advisable to be used often. At least myself, I start using much often because I feel the power of that mantra. Looks like is compatible with Om. I'm not sure if it's the same. Is this if is the same old as Om? It's not possible to be the same because everything start after Om, but at least is this one of the oldest mantra in the or bija mantra in the world. And I for my meditation I start using, obviously trying to improve my Muladhara. But speaking about our discussion about mantra book, I believe it's one of the things who have to be there in mantra book with a lot of explanation about that people should use it. So in the beginning, we have to talk about that probably, Chris, sometime, even if we don't talk publicly about a kind of mantra book with important things who have to be added there. But again, and this one is one of the important things in my view. What's your take on that one?
Well, I think the thing about these kind of mantras is that perhaps you discover them when you're supposed to, when you need them. But for beginners, it may not be that helpful because until you develop your inner kind of senses where you can feel these things actually working inside, it may be better just to stick to simple, Sahaja Yoga mantras and not go in for these more, what should you say, esoteric things. Although it's described in the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, which was obviously Shamaji was very keen on the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha. It was the main praise that she have a simple puja today, we'll just say the Atharva Sheersha,
Yeah.
It was the one important thing that, you could forget everything else, but you have to say that one.
Yeah. I don't like to disagree, but I don't think that it's a esoteric knowledge. That's one. And secondly, I don't believe in Sahaja mantras. So the mantras are the mantras. I don't believe that we have to make our mantras. They are there. With a few exceptions, Shimataji give it to us, which the main one and the most important one It's a kind of meditation for Muladhara with the five mantras, which maybe one time we will talk about when she start meditation with Nirmal Ganesh and the affirmation, um, I'm innocent. Ganesh Gauri after that with the affirmation, please make me innocent. And Shri Kartikeya, please make me worthy of you. Shri Rakshas Hantri, the destroyer of all the negativity. So I believe that meditation, that mantra also should be there in the beginning of a kind of book. Okay, not the one we have it now. Any so uh, uh, I'm not sure if I told you before. I want to make my mantra book. So I mean, some
Okay.
which I use it, and
Right.
we we have a lot of things, but we don't have Shimataji or few of Shimataji's prayers there, and there are quite a few of them. Let's put them there.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay. I mean, I'm actually writing a book called Bija Mantras,
okay,
and it includes a lot of this kind of information that we're talking about.
okay. I know
Uh,
about that. I know you're right. So,
so,
so
yeah.
should we come back to our? So I start with the.
Okay.
We start with the end of the verse 7. Let's starting. Come back with the beginning. Um, why do you think we have? I mean, please explain the verse, but remember my question: why they feel the need to repeat explanation of GAM?
Well, it's interesting. Before we started, we were saying we just got to the interesting bit.
Yes,
Now, it looks as if this is actually the most boring bit because it describes
not
how
for
to
me.
spell gum twice, G-A-M.
Yes,
Yes, first you say G, then you say A, then you say M. It seems very kind of like, why do they need to tell us twice?
yes,
um, so uh, the answer is, apparently there's some kind of a code here, and there's these sort of hidden meanings. And Shrimataji indicated this in her in the book, the Atharva Sheersha book. It gives Shrimataji's quotations from a puja in Sydney in 1981, and she's sort of translating, or somebody else is translating the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, and Shrimataji is making comments on it. So she mentions that Ganadim Purvam Ucharya, which apparently means you say Gana's first letter, i.e. G. Puravam means first or previously, and Ucharya means is to be uttered. So, but Shrimataji herself actually says Ganadim, the first Gana, is Sri Ganesha, and Purvam Ucharya means he's the first manifestation. So she herself points out that double meaning, that Ganadim Purvam Ucharya means Sri Ganesha is the first manifestation. And then Varnadim means the first letter of the alphabet, which is A.
yes.
But Varna also means a sound. So the first sound is Om.
Uh-huh.
And then Tadanantaram has a double meaning. It means literally tad is that, an means not, and antara means in between, in the middle. So tadanantara means nothing in between. So it means immediately or next.
Yeah.
But it also means identical. So Sri Ganesha is identical to the Om. He is the Om. He's Omkar Swarupan. So so it goes on. So Anuswara is a very subtle and interesting name. it literally means the following sound, the nasal sound that follows after a vowel.
Is the same as the sound in Aum, Om, M,
Yeah,
the last M?
it's the same. Yes, the
Yeah.
same. It actually means any nasal sound.
Uh-huh.
So it's like, say later on, we got like Sundanam, Samhita, Sandehi,
Uh-huh.
you know. So each of those nasal sun can be represented with a nuswara, and
Uh-huh.
it modifies, it changes. So before a D, it becomes an N. Before an H, it becomes M,
Uh-huh.
and things like this. So we say samsara,
Yeah.
we say sandhya.
Uh-huh.
So it, uh, it just modifies according to the next letter.
Yeah.
But it's a very subtle meaning. So anu means kind of following or after or with even. Swa means self, and Ra is the fire bija. It represents the Kundalini.
Mm-hmm.
So humanity again mentioned all these points at some points. So Anuswara can mean the self, the Atma, joining with the Kundalini. Uh, when they both rise up into Sahasrara and merge, that's when we get our self-realization. That's when we become conscious of the all-pervading spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So Anuswara means that kind of actually uh, that joining together of the spirit and the Kundalini, the Atma. But it has other meanings too. Swara means the musical notes, yeah? Well, there are 7 musical notes. So swara actually has a double, it's used to denote the number 7, because there are 7 swaras. So anuswara means, anu means kind of in line or a series of things. So the series of 7 things, in other words, the chakras, the points on the mula, on the Shushumna Nadi, come, paratara means after that,
Uh-huh.
but actually can also, para means God, the Supreme. Tara means to carry across. So it actually, that nuswara, the sound, carries us up to the Supreme God, So it's all has several layers of meaning. And then it goes on. It's all, the whole verse is actually couched in double meanings.
Just a question.
Yeah.
Do you believe you are working on this translation over and over? You have 3 edition. You are working for probably more than 15 years or something like that, to my estimation, um, because you have the first one in 2012.
Yeah. Well, I've been working on it for like more than 10 years when the first edition came out.
Okay, so yeah,
So
it's
it's like 24 years now.
yes, it's even more than I. Okay, let's go with that. Uh, and it's my feeling is that it's a work in progress. Do you believe that you get all the meanings, or still you still
No,
have
not at all. No.
not at all? Or it's exactly
Just,
like what I expected. That's why I said it's work in progress, because it's never.
yeah, just
It's,
scratching the surface. That's all.
okay. Okay, I don't want me to say that.
No, no. That's.
um,
I mean, we can only understand enough at whatever level we're at ourselves. Yeah.
yeah,
So
that's
if we become deeper, then we understand deeper significances.
Yeah.
So there's plenty of room there for further development.
Yeah. Yeah. Now we will come to the fourth line, Ardendula sitam tarena ridam. My pronunciation is horrible. What is that dot? When it's coming to the um, aum om sign, we know where the dot it is. In this case, where is that dot visually?
Well,
If you
in the
can,
book somewhere, there's a picture,
yes,
and it shows how gum is written. And
yes,
again, like Om, it has a little crescent, a little sort of cup with the dot inside the cup, you might say. So I don't know whether it's possible to show that on screen. It's on page 110 in the
yes.
book. There's a
On
little
the
picture.
hard copy, it's on 112.
112 also, this one there, yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway,
I should put the book on the screen. I will put the book
have a look.
on the screen and have a look of
Down a bit. Yeah, there we are. Although if you go to the next page, there's actually another one that has the crescent. If you go to the next page, it has the crescent, or 2 pages. Next page.
yeah.
There.
Yeah.
We've actually got the dot actually represented as a star.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Shrimataji herself, in her explanation, says that the Tarain, the star, is the dot, is the bindu in the gum, So it's there's been quite a lot of different translations of that line over the years, which I won't go into, I think, because it's too long-winded. But at one time it used to say completed with the Om, because Tarain can mean a mystic monosyllable, which meant the Om, and rhythm means sort of completed. Anyway, I think if we follow what Shrimataji said, then she certainly indicated that the Ardendu is the crescent, and the Taren, the Tara, the star, is the dot there, and combined they produce a full nasal sound that kind of reverberates inside the head. So gum kind of goes up into the head. Gum. Right, so,
I don't want to be impolite to let you talk and go myself from the screen. I'm going to put the light on. Just sorry about that. I should do it before, but the dark just comes suddenly.
Okay, it's getting dark in New Zealand. I suppose it's the middle of winter there, yeah.
Yeah.
Here in Kerala, we don't really have summer and winter. It's always the same. Yeah.
Okay. Sorry about that. I should do it early to realize that the dark come quite suddenly. Sorry for the interruption.
Yeah.
We can go further. Should we stick with the book or with the pages with the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha are from the book as well? But sometimes...
Well, I don't know. The next line is, anyways, Etat Tava Manu Swarupam. So again, Manu means the mantra. It's actually used quite often, Manu meaning a mantra.
Yeah.
but it also means wise, a wise person. So this can mean, literally, it means this is the form of your mantra, but it can also mean in this way, the wise person attains your state of, blessedness, whatever.
This manu, this word in this line, it's synonym in a way with the manu who are we know how it's a dynasty of Manu, and the
There's
Manu,
Manu is actually the first man, like Adam and Eve.
the first
Manu is
man. Yes.
so then he's a whole big thick book called Manu Smriti, which lays down lots of laws and
Laws of
principles.
Manu. Yes.
Yeah. So I personally never actually looked at it, but have you looked at it?
Yes, I read it many years ago, but I
Okay.
should go back because I take some notes, but I believe I will get it better now.
Well, it's a big thick book, so good luck with that.
Probably I have
Um,
a bridge version because what I have
okay.
it's much shorter. I'm not
Okay.
afraid of big books as long as
No,
I
that's obvious as you're reading the Skanda Purana, which is
exactly. So I still have a lot. I'm just book 7 or uh,
yeah,
Skanda Purana.
that is the biggest of the Puranas.
Yes. And Delia, my wife, it's on Mahabharata, the original version.
Okay.
She's very happy that she finished with the fighting because for her was a little bit boring the volume with fightings. So now she's in volume 8.
Okay.
Should we go further? Now, we have the repetition, and they said again that G is the first form, A is the middle form, and M is the last form. And again, Bindu is the form of the top. So repeating basically the first 4 lines in a different manner.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Uh, okay. Anyway, I mean, the subtle system is divided vertically
Yes,
as well as horizontally.
yes. By
So
notes.
again, well,
Horizontally,
Srimati says for the our lower bit, below the Vishnu Granthi is the R of Om,
yes.
R. The middle bit from sort of the heart up to Agya is the U, the right side, but it's the middle section. And then the Ma is the heavenly realm, the Sahasrara and above there. So those 3 realms of the subtle system. Again, this is more or less describing that. The Ga is the lower realm, and the R is the middle section, and the the Anuswara, nasal sound, is the final, the top bit, and then the Bindu is above that. In other words, it's the kind of the Valaya, the Adi Shakti's kind of emanation above the Sahasrara, and Nada. So Bindu and Nada, there's a whole big thing about Bindu and Nada, how when they join, they create the world. They're called Sakali Karana, meaning the creation of everything. So there's a big kind of philosophical thing to be understood there about what Bindu and Nada are, but there's kind of Shiva and Adi Shakti. So the Nada is Shiva, and he permeates the whole creation of the Adi Shakti.
You are talking
So,
about the line who said Nadak Sandhanam Samhita Sandih.
yeah.
So before that is the line Bindur Rutara Rupam.
Yeah.
So Bindur the first word from that line with nada, the first word from the next line, you said
Yeah.
are linked together.
Yeah, so the bindu is the final form, and then bindu uttara rupa, and then nada sanganam means when joined with the nada, samhita sandhi.
Yeah.
That means gives us a connection with samhita means the all-pervading God,
Yeah.
the thing, the substrate of the whole universe, whatever underlies the reality is the samhita. So when the bindu and the nada join together, then we get connected to the all-pervading consciousness.
Those are, can we call them the chakras above Sahasrara?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, connected with those. Yeah, sure. That's up there. Yeah, it's also again the bindu is the dot and the nada is the crescent. So they're the bindu and the nada bindu above Sahasrara. Yeah.
But another
on those levels.
But another meaning of those verses is the explaining or telling to the recitators, to the people who recite them, how to do it. So another message here is a practical one. Hey, you have to recite in that manner with the sound, with the united sound.
Well, you can say that, but if I tell you that the way to spell, home is Home, I don't really have to tell you that then you have to join all those letters together to make the word.
Yeah.
That's not really, it seems very kind of simplistic to say that, but the point is that it has this subtle meaning underneath. So say Shah Ganesha Vidya, this is Ganesha's knowledge, the knowledge of Sri Ganesha. Vidya actually means, vid means to know, and to put ya on the end, it means what is to be known. I think it's what we call the randu in the English. So you could also say this is what is to be known about Sri Ganesha, to be understood.
Yeah.
So yeah. So then it strangely enough it gives you the rishi, the composing seer, the Gayatri, the chanda, the meter of the thing, the devata, the presiding deity. Now these things are normally given at the beginning of a praise. If you read any of the praises, lots of them in the mantra book, they all say at the beginning, Brahma, Rishi, Anushtup, Chanda, blah blah blah, like the Devi Kavach or something
And the
like
Devi
that.
Kavach, yes.
But they all, lots of them do it. They all do it. But it's always at the beginning. So this is strange because this is not at the beginning. It's in the middle of the middle verse, and sort of like why. So Ganaka means, could be somebody's name, but it means a person who does calculations, an astrologer or a mathematician.
Accountant.
An accountant, yes, anybody who does sums, because Gana actually means to count.
Yeah.
So, but Gana also means a list or a series of things. So we've just described a series of letters, and ka means to make or to do. So Gana ka actually can mean the person who says this series of sounds. Rishi means a sage, so they become, a realized soul, a great sage. So then the next line, Nihrid Gayatri Chandaha. So Nihrid means, in this case, it means mixed, or it means joined together. Ni means like inside or mixed together. And Krit means to sort of put or place together, So it means, literally, it means the meter is a mixed Gayatri. And the Gayatri we will be talking about in the next verse. It's
Yep.
a meter of 3 blocks of 8 syllables.
Yep.
Okay, but Gayatri actually is also a name of the goddess. It's a form of Sri Saraswati, and you can say, and Nikhrid, as we say, means like immersed, you know. So you can become immersed in the goddess, you know, become part of her, as we do in Sahaja Yoga. As Mataji said, you know, we're all, she don't, very blessed because we've actually become a part of her body, you know, we've actually a bit of her, which of course caused her a lot of problems, but
Yeah.
she dealt with that. Chanda means a meter, like a hymn or a sacred sound, but actually has another meaning, which means according to one's desire. Chanda means his desire, and Chandaha means as you wish, you might say. So you can become, if your desire is such, you can become it joined with the goddess. And then Ganapati or Devata means Sri Ganesha is the presiding deity. But Devata also means deity. It also means divinity. Okay, so we can assume we can become in Sri Ganesha's state of divine bliss. You know, whatever. So, and then it gives the mantra, you know, Om Gam Ganapatiye Namaha. So, although apparently the most boring verse, it actually has a lot of interest in it.
Yeah, never consider it a boring one, even when I don't know all these inside and double meanings. I wish very much that you are reaching many Sahaja Yogi with this knowledge, because I have a little controversy with not too many people, but recently with one of my acquaintances who said, why we are praying or why we are paying too much attention to these parts of the kavachis or other prayers who tell you what to do, who tell you how to say the mantras, how to pronounce. Those are technical stuff. We shouldn't pay attention to this kind of stuff. And I said, because the discussion was very recent, I know why, and I know the importance of that, but I wasn't able to explain as good as you can explain that. So I'm very much hoping that people will listen to us, to you, because in the end, I put it very bluntly, the content it's have the same importance as the the way of saying. The 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 outside, the cloth is the same, have the same importance as the inside. So because in all this kind of stuff, always you will have some double meaning and some things, deeper thing to make you understand. So, but the question for some people will remain: why should we put that in a prayer to God? Because let's say that part is more for us how to be able to say the mantra correctly.
I think when you're approaching any sort of great praise or something, it's important to get into the right mood, into the right frame of mind, which is, you know, to be humble, to be sort of reverent, to enter a state of holiness, to say these things. And I think these preambles help to get us into that state. I mean, I don't know whether you ever used to do the I Ching or the I Ching, however you say it. Do you used to do that? The I Ching, you know, there's a way of doing it where you have 50 little sticks, you know, and you divide them in, you take one out, then you divide them into kind of two sections, and you split each section up into three, and you get left with a certain number over at the end. And when you count that number, it tells you what kind of line the first line is. And so you have to do that 6 times to get your hexagram, to get your 6 lines. Yeah? So that's a long process, actually. And surely you can just do it really simply just by throwing a few coins, you know, which you can. But the whole process gets you into that frame of mind. It calms you down. It brings you into the right mood to be open to whatever, you know, the divine, the unconscious wants to show you. So I think the preambles are important, actually. You know.
Except that here is not a preamble, is in the middle of the
Yeah, that's right.
of the prayer, which
Yeah.
make me bring into discussion something we talked a little bit last time, but we never finish. You said at some stage that the worship for Sri Ganesha start late. Actually,
Well, I don't know whether 2,000 years ago is very late. I mean, that's still a long
for
time.
me, is late, because keeping in mind that this knowledge have tens of thousand years, only 2,000 years ago, starting worshipping Sri Ganesha looks yesterday. So, and Ganesha Atharva Sheersha was put together, some scholars said even much later, in AD.
Yeah, I mean, maybe about 300 years ago.
So it's yesterday.
Well, time of Shakespeare, you know. So,
Yeah. So what's happened before? I mean, I cannot uh, I cannot believe that people do not worship Sri Ganesha before. But our Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, it's a mixture of prayers put it together by someone.
well, the whole thing about chakras and kundalini is also relatively new. I mean, it really developed in South India more or less around 800 AD. So, I mean, that's a kind of late development. You could say it's only maybe, you know, 1,500 years old. So until you're talking about, when you're talking about deities and Kundalini and stuff, well, obviously then Sri Ganesha becomes very important because we know his position. You know. But in the old Vedic system, which was, you know, you worship, you build a fire, you worship the fire, you say the Gayatri mantra, you worship formless God. This is the Vedic style, you know, which is being passed down into Zoroastrianism and Judaism, of just worshipping, having a fire to represent the formless God. And Islam, of course, same. You know, they don't believe in deities, different aspects of God. Well, they say they don't. I mean, in fact, they do. But they so the whole development of the sort of deities and the chakras and this ideas is what you would call relatively late. You know, it's not in the Vedas, definitely. You know, it's not in the Upanishads. It's
According to the scriptures, and including with what we read a few minutes ago, because the 3 verses you said before, Ganakari Shihini, Chirit Gayatri Chanda, Ganapatir Devata, you can find it in any prayer, saying about, I'm telling to the people who are listening to us. So this three verses are always in all the prayers, telling about the rishi, the seer, who receive it, or who write it but was receive it,
Yeah.
saying about the matter, which is the form of writing, and after that the presiding deity. All the time you will find this kind of stuff in everything. So in our case, let's suppose even we have double meaning of Ganaka, the seer was Ganaka.
Yeah.
So any idea if Ganaka write everything, or again it's a mixture of prayers put it together by much later? Because
Well,
my question still, this is from God or is from human, or it's a collection of things who come from God?
well, whoever wrote the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha was a very intelligent and a very learned person, because they make references to all the different branches of Indian philosophy. Okay, and they create a lot of humor, a lot of word plays, a lot of jokes, you can say, in the way the words are structured and stuff like this. So, you know, but obviously with the amount of vibrations it carries, and it's divinely inspired. So, it's just like Sanskrit itself. It's amazing how Sanskrit produces these kind of effects. Where you just change one thing and it suddenly means a whole deeper level of meaning. Which is not true in other languages. But in Sanskrit it is. So if you say, is it human or is it divine? Well, the answer is it's a collaboration. The divine can't produce it without a human being to write it, but the human being can't write it without some divine inspiration. So
it's a virtuous circle.
Yeah, you could say that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My question still, because why wasn't a same used the same Gayatri matter? Why should use different matter as well? Usually a prayer, it's write it in a single matter.
Actually, that's not really true, but some of them certainly stick to a meter. But I mean, recently I just retranslated the Shiva Kavach, and that's sort of half of it's in Trishtu meter, other bits of it no meter at all, and so it's quite common. I mean, the Devi Atharva Sheersha again is bits of it are in meter, lots of it is not in meter. The Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, the only bit of it that's in Gayatri meter actually is the next verse.
Yeah.
The rest of it is in no meter, or sometimes a bit of Trishtub or a bit of Anushtub. So it's definitely mixed. So should we move on to the next verse?
Should we move to the next verse? Yes, which is?
So the next verse is what's called the Ganesha Gayatri. So it's 3 lines, and each line has 8 syllables.
That's Gayatri meter.
Which is Gayatri meter. So we know the original Gayatri, Tat Savitura Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Dhiyo Yona Prachodayat. There's again 3 lines of 8 syllables. And this follows the same idea. The only thing that's really the same is okay. So these 3 lines seem to work on the left, right, and center channel as we would expect, as usual, in that order. So so ekadantaya means ekadanta means one tooth. Sri Ganesha has one tusk.
Yep.
And vidmahe. Now normally vidmahe means we know. Vid is to know, and mahe means we. So vidmahe, we know. But if it was we know the one tusked God, that would be in the accusative sense. It would be ekadantam vidmahe, we know the one tusk. But it's not, it's ekadantaya, that's the dative case. So it doesn't mean we know, it means vid has a different meaning when it's used with the dative case, and it means to seek to know or to approach. Now that's more respectful, we don't know Ganesha, how can we know him? That's very arrogant to say we know him. We can only know a tiny speck of his being. But we approach him, we wish to know him. And so that is a different meaning of vidmahe, which most translations don't pick up on, funnily enough. People haven't seemed to have noticed that ekadantaya is in the dative case. So, so again, that works on the left side because it's expressing our desire. We wish, we approach you, we wish to know you. But ekadanta has quite a subtle meaning, because if we change it slightly, so it's a and then kad and then anta. A is the kundalini. It's the sacrum. The letter E is written as a triangle in Devanagari. And Shimataji talked about this, that the letter E represents the kundalini. Kad, K-A-D, means what. Means it's like an interrogative pronoun. But it also implies any obstacle, some problem, something bad. So ekad and anta means to end. So like Sri Krishna is called Narakantaka, he's the one who put an end to the demon Naraka, killed him. So ekad anta means he is the one who makes an end to any obstacles to the kundalini. Well, we know that Sri Ganesha is the chancellor on every chakra, that he has to give his permission for the kundalini to rise through all the chakras. So ekadanta is recognizing that fact, that he's the one who has to allow the kundalini, and that he removes obstacles to the rising of the kundalini. So the next line works on the right side. So vakra means curled or twisted. Tunda means a nose or a snout or a trunk of an elephant. And dhimahi means we meditate, we put our attention to the one with a curled trunk. Okay. On a subtle level, Vak is speech. Speech is the quality of the right side. We know that Sri Saraswati and Brahmadeva are they called the goddess of speech. So Vak is speech. Rat means enjoyment, pleasure. We say, for example, like that an elephant is in rut. It means that's the same word. Actually, it means a kind of on the rampage. Anyway, so Vakrat Unda is a spring, a well up in. So again, Vakratunda, as well as having a curved trunk, can mean that he is the what should we say, the fountain of speech and sort of enjoyment, pleasure. Vakratanda. So again, that works on the right side. Dhimahi, paying attention. Attention is quality of the right side. So there we go. And then the third line, Tanodanti Prachodayat. Tan is tad, and that means that, or so, therefore. No is us, it's na in composition. So Danti means he, the one holding a tusk, and you can see in the picture on the screen there that Sri Ganesha is holding a tusk in his right hand. So, and prachodayat means to stimulate, to direct, to lead. Right. So may he who holds a tusk stimulate and direct us. Or actually it says here, may he having a tusk inspire us. Yeah. So again, it has a subtle meaning. So tad actually means the formless God, the sort of Sadashiva, the supreme consciousness, is known as tad, and that. So, sort of that. So Noda, Tan Noda, Noda. I think you have to get the next page. Noda means separation or kind of aversion, like that. And then anti, again, we said before, means he removes that. He makes an end to that. So he removes any separation between us and the all-pervading consciousness. So we become one with the Supreme Spirit. So that works on the central channel, and it takes your attention right up into Sahasrara. And that.
So we start describing the aspects of the physical aspects of Sri Ganesha, but with double meaning. And I remember first time when I read this verse explained by you, I was a bit intrigued. Why it's repeating several times, which will be in the next verse as well, and even further, the fact that Sri Ganesha have one task in different way. So of course the most word used is ekadanta, but there are some other words used which doesn't mean exactly ekadanta, but said the one who have a broken task. So for me, this question lead me to go further on that trip, and you and your explanation were the trigger. But the question remain. I answer a little bit for myself to that question, but can you develop a little bit? Because I remember I write you a letter long time ago about that. And you said, no, 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 it's not a Gadanta. I said, no, it's not a Gadanta, but it's related with the fact that he have one task. So only in that prayer, only in Gayatri Ganesha mantra, it's said twice.
Yeah.
All his quality, from all physical aspects, which are infinite, and we know probably 20 like very easily, is choose that one to be repeated over and over. Uh, it's something to do with the fact that he's the one, not it's dual, is something with the duality or non-duality? Please explain.
Okay, well, I don't want to be too controversial, but I have to say these days I'm kind of almost of the opinion that the name came first, and then they used these kind of these attributes. The fact that the name, Ekadanta, the remover of obstacles to the Kundalini,
Yes.
they noticed this kind of pun, this joke,
Uh-huh.
this double meaning
Uh-huh.
in the name. And I've in my Bija Mantra book, I go into all the names of the deities, and they all contain these kind of double meanings. That they have a subtle underlying meaning, and then which gives rise to a kind of a physical attribute. But the physical attributes themselves, I mean, Sri Ganesha, we know he's sort of what should we say? He's a deity. He's on a subtle level. He's not physically. He doesn't physically exist.
Yep.
You
Yep.
could say. So you've got to describe him somehow. So you make him. You find these names which describe his subtle meaning, that they create this kind of physical look from that. So I say it's a bit controversial. I mean, that's not, you could say. But, so many of these names of the deities, say they're so subtle and they have so many layers of meaning in them that you wonder whether they started with the subtlest meanings and then worked backwards up to the physical attributes rather than the other way around.
Yep. Yep. I want to come back a little bit to the
I'd just actually like to say
Yes.
this is actually a very powerful mantra, and it's good to say this mantra. I mean, if you like saying Om Gam Ganapatye Namah, which
Yes.
hopefully we all do,
Yep.
this is also a very powerful mantra. So saying this, repeating this, sitting in meditation, repeating this a few times, 20, 30, 108 times.
Yeah.
It's very powerful, strong.
That's exactly what I want to say. Exactly like Om Gam, this mantra should be used a little bit more by us because it's very powerful. Probably saying only Gayatri Ganesha mantra. If you don't have time for Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, saying that one will be good as well, because it's mirroring the Gayatri mantra, the original Gayatri mantra, which is also one of the most important mantra in the world. Some scholars said that's the oldest mantra except Om as well.
Well,
So
actually, in fact, it's old. It's older than Om, actually.
it's older than Om.
Yeah,
How come? Because the
Om
Om was the
actually,
sound, was the primordial sound. How can be?
because Om actually does not appear in the Vedas. Om is not mentioned in the Vedas. It only appears in the Upanishads. Yeah.
We
And
are
but the
we are talking.
Gayatri mantra
Yes,
is from the Rig Veda, it's one of the
I know.
oldest
Of course,
bits.
I
So
know. But
actually, it's a lot older than Om in terms of it's being used in the Vedic
in
worship.
in term of being used, but we are talking about two different things. The something who was there, like Sri Ganesha worship, something who was there, but not in the books or not used, and something who was starting to be used. So from that perspective, you are right. Yes, Om wasn't in there, right, but probably was used in oral. But again, yes, Gayatri mantra is the oldest mantra in the Rig Veda, in the first Veda. Um, we because of Ganesha Gayatri mantra, I start to look for the original Gayatri mantra, the one we said now it's old. This mantra was used as a matrix, like we use in Sahaja Yoga, the matrix of Om Tvameva Sakshat, and insert the deity there. It's exactly the same which happened with Gayatri mantra being as a matrix used for, I count 24 deities.
Well, all the deities actually.
All the deities can be
They all have a Gayatri
they
mantra. Yeah,
all have a Gayatri mantra, but the main one, I count them 24. And also I was
that's a
looking
lot. Yeah.
for meters because I want to understand the system of the meters. And with my surprise, I find that this knowledge was um, make it available for the Western scholars quite early, in late 1800. No, I'm not sure, by Englishman who start learning Sanskrit by itself, Wilson. So Wilson, I should make my homework better because I have to. I'm not sure if it's George Wilson, and he write a whole volume of um, a study about the Sanskrit meters. And he described all the meters there. I was looking only for Gayatri. When I come across with that volume from late 1800. So it's quite
Yeah.
quite interesting because give you a glimpse of the other meters, not only Gayatri one, which is one of the most simple one, 3 lines, each line 8 syllables. And also we have here, so we have also the deity, the Gayatri, which it's in my view it's Adi Shakti, but we have also Savitur, which some people make a confusion with Savitri, but it's not Savitri. Savitri is the wife of Sri Brahma,
Ah,
but
Savitri with a long I,
yes,
because actually Savitur is Savitra.
yes,
It's yeah,
Savitra, Savitra,
Savitra, and Savitri is the feminine aspect of
yes.
Savitra.
My pronunciation is a little bit blunt, so I still call it, for the sake of being easily understood, Savitri and Savitur, which is Savitru. So Savitru is the masculine one, and in my understanding is the light is the spiritual light, is the light from the Bible, the one who start in the beginning, when they said in the beginning, God create light. So the light who come before the light from the sun or from the stars, because they were created later. So basically that's our prayer. In that direction goes our prayer for Savitr, to give us this kind of
Okay.
illumination, prachodayat. So saying that, probably we will understand better Gayatri Mantra, and if we understand better Gayatri Mantra, we understand better Ganesha Gayatri Mantra, because you just put other qualities of Sri Ganesha, and basically is the same meaning, but you pray to Sri Ganesha to illuminate.
Yeah, sure. Okay. That's interesting. Yeah. All right.
All right. So should we go a little bit further now? The verse.
Okay. So we've got verse 9.
Yes, verse 9.
So verse 9 is a bit more simple, a bit more straightforward,
Yes.
in the sense that it's just describing some names of Sri Ganesha, ways of worshipping. So the whole verse actually is in the accusative case, and the only verb is evam jayanti yonityam, which is in the penultimate line. Whoever meditates in this manner, nityam means like every day,
Yes.
always. Yeah. Then that yogi becomes the greatest of yogis. Okay, so it's fairly simple. I mean, it says he's got, one task, four hands. He's holding a noose and a goad, and his hand is giving blessings, and he's holding a tusk. So it's all simple, fairly simple stuff. There's no real double meanings in there, particularly. The only thing that you can say about it is that a lot of the lines there start with a rakta. So rakta means red or blood, or beautiful, actually. So it's describing a lot of things that are red about Sri Ganesha. And when we do puja, we use five, things, five elements. We have the dhupa, the incense, the deepa, the lamp,
Yeah.
the naivedya, the prasad, the offerings.
Yeah. Flowers.
And then we have the pushpa, the flower, the ganda, the perfume.
Yeah.
So if we look in here, we can sort of find all of those more or less described as being rakta, as being red. So rakta ganda means red perfume, but actually rakta ganda is a particular type of sandalwood tree, which has is more red colored than the usual sandalwood.
Yeah.
So it's particularly prized for the worship of Sri Ganesha.
Yeah.
And Rakta Pushma, he's worshipped with red flowers.
Just 1 second, because the next 3 lines are also for me great importance, and I don't want to go there yet. Before I make a little bit of correction here, in the version I have it, Raktam Lambodaram.
Yeah.
Not from the book and not from online. Between Raktam and Lambodaram, it's a comma. You have the comma in the translation, red color, comma, with a big belly. But I always put a comma when I recite it in Sanskrit, because people usually said Raktam Lambodaram, which means with a big belly red color. So it's not with a big belly red color, it's red color.
If it was a compound word, In other words, if it was like having a big red belly,
Yes.
it would be Rakta Lambodaram.
Yes.
They'd be connected. But as they're separately, as Raktam is in the accusative and Lambodaram's in the accusative, then they are kind of separate epithets of Sri Ganesha. Having said that, if you look back at a very old version of the Ganesha Atharva Sheersha from like 1780 or something, it actually has Rakta Lambodaram. It's actually doesn't have Rakta.
But
so it doesn't matter much, you know.
Okay. For me, it was matter, and I have a version with the comma, including in that. Yeah. So anyway, so we can go further to the next line. Actually, we are in Rakta Pushpa Supujitam Bhaktanum Kampinam Devam, but the next three lines also shock me, especially the third one. So, Jagat Karana Machutam Avirbhutam Chasrishtyadau Prakrita Hepurushat Param. So here, for me, it's a describing of the whole greatness of Sri Ganesha. Even going a little bit controversial in the third one when it said Prakritehe Purushat Param. And you notice that in your book, you said how he can be before his parents. So let's talk about these three lines, please. So the fact that...
okay, actually, I'll just quite like to mention that the line Bhaktanu Kampanam Devam, the God who is compassionate to his devotees, is a generally used description of Lord Shiva. Jagat Karanam, the creator of the world, is Sri Brahmadeva.
Yes.
And Achyuta is a very common name of Sri Vishnu or Krishna, Achyuta. So actually he's saying that you are Shiva, Brahma, and Vishnu.
In a different way.
Yeah, in a kind of subtle way, yeah.
Yes.
But it's also saying that he's also the one who, you know, does the kind of creating destruction and sustaining of the world.
Yeah.
Because Achyuta means like solid, cannot slip or fall or go wrong, you know. So that's Sri Vishnu. That's like the permanent.
Yep.
Like that, yeah. So Avirbhutam means becoming visible.
Yep.
And Shrishti Adao means at the beginning of creation. So it's a bit interesting because actually Param, in Hindi, Param actually has come to mean after. But in Sanskrit, it means beyond.
Beyond.
So an Indian and a Hindi speaker will tell you, oh, this means after the nature and the spirit. You know?
Yes.
But because Hindi, I mean, Indian people, Hindi speakers especially, are very loath to recognize that any Westerner could know more about Sanskrit than them, even though they may never have studied it. You know? And we've had many Indians tell us that, no, you shouldn't say Sri Ganesha, you said Sri Ganesh.
Yes.
You say, well, Srimataji didn't say it that way. You know? So, oh, well, you know, but that's the right way to say it. So Srimataji was saying it wrong? They go, no, but you know. Anyway, it's a discussion we've had many times, actually.
Yes.
Anyway, so Prakrit means Prakrit and Purusha are actually Vedic. The Adi Shakti, Prakrit is nature, the primordial creative energy. So that's the Adi Shakti. And Purusha means man in Sanskrit, but it actually means the Supreme Spirit, means the formless God.
Yeah.
But actually it's used like, forgive me for mentioning, but on toilets in India, on the gentlemen's, it says Purush, it says that's the word for men,
Yeah.
Purush and Mahin, men, women,
Yeah.
So, anyway, so it means, so he's like the Om comes out, he is the Om, he's the creative thing. So that's, it's all, as you say, a bit paradoxical, as the truth often is.
One explanation can be that the qualities of Sri Ganesha, the innocence, mainly the innocence we know as the epitome of all qualities, were there before, or how it can be an explanation?
Well, innocence, in a way, comes from just being absolutely in the present moment, with no sort of thoughts or ideas, no preconceptions, no desires, no, just absolutely in the present moment, just seeing things as they are, makes you innocent, which is why children, humanity tells a story about how this boy, the parents are producing a dinner party. And before he comes, he says, we better cook a bit of extra food because Mr. Jones is coming, he eats like a horse, It's like, so when the kids come, the boy's looking at Mr. Jones and he's watching him. And he says, Mum, he doesn't eat like a horse at all. What are you saying? So that's innocence, yeah. So because he's just there in the present moment.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the last two lines of this verse, we can call it Falashruti. We can call it the fruits of the prayer.
Oh well, you can say that. Yeah. I mean, as I say, it's the only verb. The rest of it is just giving you some names and qualities of Sri Ganesha to be used in puja. Forward it. And it says, so whoever meditates in this way continuously becomes a great yogi.
You told me once.
Yeah, it's a kind of Falashruti. But there is a Falashruti. I mean,
after
there are
that,
6
exactly.
verses after this.
Long one.
Yeah, 6 verses.
Yeah.
So, actually, I was going to mention, which I didn't mention, but we were talking about preambles. Actually, people say the thing called the Shantipata, which is the goes is it Sri Bhunaktu Saha now something or other. I can't remember how it goes, but it's about a page, and again, it's supposed to create a good atmosphere of sort of auspiciousness and peace. So Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, it normally does have a kind of preamble in that form. That's taken from one of the Vedas, that Shantipata.
We have those stuff, but unfortunately we don't use them. I know a guy who use them on the day-to-day basis. So lucky.
In the Divine Essence of the Prayer, which was written by Brian Bell, who actually was living in New Zealand, I think, at the time when he wrote it. He translates it actually. So when it says, "Let our ears hear that which is true, let our eyes see that which is pure," that's actually a translation of the Shantipata for Ganesha Atharva Sheersha.
He's in Australia now. I saw him
Yeah,
once, but he left New Zealand before I come, so I cannot have a discussion with him. But will be interesting, I suppose.
yeah, he's a very interesting man, and he did a lot of good work in Saint Germain, actually.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
he's yeah,
like
uh,
all the people from New Zealand.
yeah, who all moved out, went somewhere else, you know.
Yeah.
Hugh Frith or Bryce Glendon or whoever it was, you know. Yeah,
Yes.
Cheryl and Cheryl. What's the sister's name? Yeah. Um,
Should we
Janie.
should we move to the last
Okay.
verse and
So
looks?
the last verse again
Yes.
is a kind of meditation. So the first three names actually work on the left, right, and center channel.
Yes.
Vrata means an assembly or a group of, like, you know, people. So a Vratapati can mean like the chairman of a meeting,
Yes.
but actually Vrata also means the Panchavrata are the five races of men.
Uh-huh.
It tends to imply, you know, the human level.
Uh-huh.
So the Vratapati, he controls that level, the human level. Ganapati, the Ganas we know are these sort of semi-divine or uh, sort of divine workers, like angels.
Yep.
He controls them. He looks after them. He's the pati, the lord, the protector, controller. And then the pramata are Lord Shiva's kind of they're destructive actually, and but destruction is good in the sense that you can only destroy what is temporary and what is illusory.
And build something else.
Yeah, so it reveals what is eternal
Yep.
and infinite, which cannot be destroyed. So destruction is good. It's removing the veils of illusion. So
Yes.
that's the quality of the central channel, that as we rise up the central channel,
Yep.
we're removing the veils of illusion between us and God, becoming more directly aware. So the Pramata Patye, that works on the central channel. So there's three names: Namo Vrata Patye, Namo Ganapatye, Namo Pramata Patye. Work on the left, right, center.
Yep.
Then Namastestu means maybe salutations to you.
Yes.
And Lambodara, I don't think it's mentioned. It's mentioned once before in the previous verse. Yeah. So Lambodara means having a big belly. Well, when the Kundalini rises, you know, the back arches a bit, and our belly
Uh-huh.
is thrust forward and down a bit. Yeah. So Lambodara implies that his Kundalini is awakened because the belly is thrust forward. And you can actually also, you can say Lam. Lam is earth. That's Lam is the earth Bija mantra. Bodha means awakening, and Ra is the Kundalini. So Lam Bodha Ra means the earth element awakening the Kundalini. So Ekadanta, we've also mentioned, means, so the Kundalini is awakened, and then Ekadanta is clearing the path of the Kundalini. We already talked about that.
That's four time when it's used again.
Yep.
Ekadanta is the most used aspect, physical aspect of Sri Ganesha. Only Lambodara it's used twice, but Ekadanta it's used four times.
Yeah, no, it's a good one. Yeah, it's great. So Vigna Nashine, he's the destroyer of obstacle. What's our main obstacle? Well, it's this, you know, concrete block inside our head, you know. So, and again, Shimataji said many times, you know, the main obstacle is our ego, you know. So Vigna Nashine, to me, means, you know, he breaks through that obstacle of our Agya chakra, you know. And then Shiva Sutta means the son of Shiva. But Suta means son in the same sense. It means like offspring. Like we say our children are our offspring.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Suta also means like a spring, a well, a fountain.
Yeah.
And Shiva can mean bliss. You know. So fountain of bliss. So when the Kundalini breaks through these Agya chakra, we get a fountain of bliss in Sahasrara. And then Sri Varada, Varada, again, seems to take up into the higher level. Maybe it's connected with the Valaya, I'm not sure, but it's Varada means, technically it means granting boons, but it seems to mean, Vara means the best, the most excellent. And Da is maybe Dash meaning like state, the highest state. So he's an incarnation, the Murtaye. He's an incarnation of the highest state of blessedness. And Namo Namaha means salutations again and again. But Namo can mean not. Mo is moha, that's any worldly illusions. And Nama, not. Maha means me, I, ego. So Sri Ganesha is Namo Namaha. He has no worldly illusions and he has no ego, no sense of separation, that he's just absolutely one with everything because he is everything.
Yes.
So,
sorry.
I was just saying, so that actually in itself is quite a meditation, you know. You
Yes.
say the 3 lines left, right, center, then it takes you up, awakening the Kundalini, rising up, breaking through Agya, fountain of bliss in the Sahasrara, and then up into the highest state of the connection there.
You call that verse the 8 names, which are beautiful. It's true. It's like a meditation.
Yeah.
My only no, not a question and not observation. I'm not in the point in the position to make observation, but we're talking. Do you find difficult, because every time when I read this last line, which for me, wow, the last line should be the coronation of everything. So we have here five words. We have Shri and Namo Namah in the end. We kind of explain them, but we have Varada and Murtaye, and you need to translate those names, probably 7, 8 words. The embodiment of the highest state of blessedness and auspiciousness. And
yeah.
Again, Chris, don't take me wrong. Don't take it as a critique, but I always wanted...
Criticism is good.
No. But yeah, it's a not even an observation, but I always and I like very much the auspiciousness, because the auspiciousness make the transition between Sri Ganesha and Sri Kartikeya, which is one of my favorite subject, and I was going there because the main quality of Sri Kartikeya is auspiciousness and chastity,
Yeah.
and many others like Sri Ganesha. But again, it's a bit cheeky to me. It's a bit cheeky from me to ask you that. Do you think you can condense more those 2 words, Varada Murtai, instead of the embodiment of the highest state of blessedness?
Okay, well, I can give you Humanity's words. Yeah, she says, "You are the statue of blessings." So, the murti actually means
Murti.
An image,
Yes.
like in a temple. You know, the image, or even the photograph.
Yes.
Is the murti. Yeah.
Yeah, we have them. Some of them to puja. Yep.
I remember I was saying somewhere that the Ten Commandments. I say, of course, in Sahaja Yoga, we don't actually follow the Ten Commandments. And somebody was shocked and say, what do you mean? I say, well, look, one of the commandments is you shall not make any graven images. But we do that all the time. We have statues of Sri Ganesha and Ganeshji's photograph and, all sorts of stuff. So no, we don't actually follow the Ten Commandments.
But the Ten Commandment, this commandment was actually not against all the idols, was a commandment against other idols, which the Jewish people tend to come back. Instead of going on the right path, Moses told them, they go to make idols. That was the meaning of that commandment. It's not that the Christian church start, especially the Catholic one, crusade against the icons which are behind me. They don't use icons, but they use statues, which again, it's against the commandment. So
yeah, I'm sure. Even making a cross,
Exactly. Yeah. But again, the cross should be regarded as the cross of Agya, not the cross, because it's again about interpretation here, because some people will feel very bad looking at the cross as a symbol of Jesus Christ's crucifixion, and they feel bad. But if you are with a clean heart, because I have this controversy with someone, with a Sahajugi, you look at the cross as the Agya one, the two intersection. The intersection, exactly. So the two petals of Agya. So it's about the how you put it. Finally, my friend, if you allowed me to call that, my teacher, my
friend is good. Brother's fine.
Can we make a combination, a compromise? Friend teacher can be a teacher, can be a teacher friend with the pupil. So finally, we finish. We were afraid that we are not finishing today. That the last part of Ganesha Atharva Sheersha, because unfortunately Chris won't be with us for a little while. Can I say publicly that you are going back to England?
Yeah, just going to do a bit of work on the ashram there.
On the ashram, which is your building, and give it to the people to live there. We have to mention
and
that.
The maintenance man,
I'm really sorry that you won't be here next week with us, but maybe we can keep in touch and you will find a little bit of time to talk with us again, because I really want to go a little bit more in Gayatri Mantra with your permission.
Yeah, well, as I say, I've been working on it a bit, and
maybe you give us.
Are you interested? Have you got time?
Yes.
Mention it now.
Yeah. We still have time.
Okay. No, what I saw is that Tat, I think we mentioned before today.
Yes.
Tat means that means like formless God.
Yep.
So Tat Sa is the Adi Shakti. It's quite well known that Sa represents the big mantra of Shakti.
Yep.
So Tat and Sa, V means separate. Yeah, the root V. So Vitura, Sa Vitura.
Yeah.
So Tat Sa, Tat, the Almighty God, Father, and the Adi Shakti, separated Vitura. Tura means to move apart. they moved apart.
Yep.
Tat Savitur. Om Tat Savitur Varenyam. So var is bija mantra of water, bija mantra of fire. Yam is the bija mantra of air. Bar is the ether, and go is, you mentioned, is the earth. Yeah? So God Almighty and the Adi Shakti separated, producing the five elements, water, fire, air, ether, and earth. Okay, Barago, De Vasya Dhimahi.
Yep.
So De means like producing. Vasya means desire, that's the left side quality. D is meditating, putting attention, that's the right side quality. Mahi is like the Mahat, it's the pure perception, the buddhi. We've got the five elements, and then the three channels, the desire, the attention, and the pure perception. Mahi. So, and then it says Diyo Yona Prachodayat. Yeah? So Diyo means whoever meditates on this. Yona, if you put it together, it says yo and na, separate words, but if you put them together as Yona,
Yeah.
it means what resides in the yoni. The yoni is the womb, the sacrum. Yeah? So the yona is the kundalini, it's the what there. And pracha means to ask or to seek. And then udayat means to rise up. So meditating on the kundalini, the seeker rises up. Okay. So it's actually describing the creation, which is not surprising because we know it's the right Swadhisthana, it's the creative, it's about creation anyway, yeah. No, that was a different way of looking at it. But you say you've also been doing some research on that?
Yes, for my purposes, I go and I make a little presentation, but again, that was for my Romanian friends. So I have something like that, like a PowerPoint presentation in Romanian.
Oh, okay.
I don't know, 31 pages. I didn't translate it in English. So I was looking for the origin, for the evolution, for the everything, looking more. So it's not the first time when I start the other way around. Instead to go to Sri Mataji for directions, I go to other sources, to sacred texts and other commentators. And in the end, I go to Shimataji as well. But in a way, it's not the first time happened this to me. The same with the Tarakasura and Narakasura controversy happens. I first go to other sources and after that I go to Shimataji. And I said to myself, if I go to Shimataji first, I won't go in some other places. I will take what Shimataji said and I will say bye-bye to anything else. If I go to the other sources first, I will find whatever discrepancies, and after that I go to Shimataji. So I have a complete gathering of materials. Guess what I find in Shrimataji? So better put it, guess what I don't find in Shrimataji? Nothing but nothing, and I have an annexa with all her quotes about Gayatri Mantra, nothing about the Gayatri mantra. Everything
Yeah.
was about Vyahitri, only
Yeah.
about the first and the last part, which is called are called, as you know, but we tell to
Oh,
other
yeah.
people, are called Vyahitri. So the sayings, uh,
The utterances. Yeah.
which have a very big importance, but they come much later. The mantra by itself is that one in the middle, only the three lines. That's
Yeah.
the Gayatri mantra from the
Actually, without the om. Actually.
exactly, exactly. Without the Om, I make a few things here. I kind to explain. I managed to put here is from Rig Veda, whatever. So I have 30 more than 30 page. Um,
Wow.
I try to see who is Gayatri, because we have Gayatri as a mantra, we have Gayatri as a goddess, we have Gayatri as a meter. And I was looking who is Savitru, pardon, and try to explain about how come the Vyahitri uh, in the picture, slowly, slowly during the time, not in the beginning, including Om, because sometimes they add Om to every word. And yeah, taking from there, I go to explain what I believe. Again, I've done it for me. Uh,
Hmm.
Not sure how good is for. Yeah, I try to explain with a group of friends because they have no idea what the meaning of, including what Shimataji said, which is in some annexa, and here there are 28, 24 versions, and are 24. It's very interesting, the number 24 here
Okay.
as well as the multiple of 8, you know.
Yeah.
Um, Also the name of the goddess. Um, so I have few annexes about what Shimataji said about the Vyahitris, but the mystery still. She said only that we don't have, because it's a mantra for the right side, we don't have to say it during the night, which obviously I completely avoid to said during the night. But I say it always
Okay.
in the morning,
Right.
which, which is very good.
Yeah. Okay.
Like
I mean, in India, they always say it at the sandhya, which is the times of when the day and night meet. So that's the dawn and the dusk. Um,
some some advices are to start the meditation 45 minutes before the sun rise.
yeah.
But
Sure.
yeah, probably we don't need it now. Um,
Yeah.
that's
Once the
another.
sun has risen, then that time has passed. The
Yes.
dawn is gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Mantra for Sri Bhumi Devi, it's also very interesting. I um, I was always fascinated about this mantra when I hear in the beginning of Sahaj Yoga that the Indian people do not go out from the bed without saying that mantra for Sri Bhumi
oh,
Devi.
really?
Yes, uh,
Which one? There is one where they you say, "Please forgive me for touching you with my feet."
yes, yes, and
That one, yeah,
asking for forgiveness,
yeah, that one, yeah,
touching
sure,
touching the earth.
yeah.
It's yeah. So that's another very good mantra which I finally find and know was easy for me to memorize when I know the meaning of all the words.
Oh, do you know that one by heart? Do you?
Yeah, I know. But don't tell me, don't put me to tell now. Uh,
Okay. Uh,
um,
yeah,
yeah, it's a short one, and
yeah,
again,
it is.
with a lot of meaning. Um, so, do you?
Actually, one other thing I did learn about the Gayatri, you know, the extra line at the end, which is added on, which goes, Om Apo Jyoti Rasomritam.
Yeah,
So it always puzzled me a bit because the Apo means waters,
yeah,
and Jyoti is the light or the fire.
uh-huh,
And then rasa means like the sort of juice, the essence, the nectar, and amritam means immortal. So I thought, why it doesn't quite sort of quite gel somehow.
yeah.
But the other day I came across the fact that the apo actually means a sacred ceremony.
Oh,
So they say this mantra when they light the sacred fire. Yeah.
yeah,
Okay. So actually, what that line means is you are the sacred fire ceremony. The apojoti means the fire ceremony. Rasom Ritam, which produces this the nectar of immortality. So that to me that makes more sense. I understand now why what it means.
yeah.
Uh,
I hope very much that the people who listen to us will be a little bit more interested in going deep into understanding every word, or at least the meaning or the other meanings, the double meaning or meanings of the prayers and the words we are using in the prayers, because give you a different perspective, and I can guarantee you that will give you uh, at least a big joy, if not a better meditation. So uh, I'm sure you agree with me because you are in the same in
well,
the
it's true that when you get a what should we say a realization, you get a kind of bucket full of vibrations poured over you. Okay, yeah, wow, it's great.
yes,
So yeah, it's very joyful. Yeah.
exactly. So is the joy of the illuminated intellect. So usually intellect is a no word in Sahaja Yoga. Every time when we talk about intellect, oh no, you are an intellectual, oh you are on the right, oh you are uh, planning. It's
Yeah,
about
well, that's
how
because
you
I think it's
use
dry, it's dry.
it. Yes, it's how you use the intellect in my view. So we use it as a tool for make sense of things, because Shimataji said, and it's another discussion, if you will agree with me, to talk about the quality of Muladhara from the drawing of Sri Mataji's petals of Muladhara with the four petals and the sub petals and the explanation. I have
Ah,
nearly everybody knows about that drawing. Nearly everybody read it, but I can said without trying to look too smart that I didn't read it. I studied. So um, actually, I have it on the top of my not in that room. It's in top of my another room. Frame it. So that's another subject which,
okay.
if you want, we can talk, because that's extremely important about Muladhara. We usually talk about Muladhara as being, or Sri Ganesha as being innocence, or innocence, joy, uh, and few other things. But there are a number about
Well,
I.
in her book, the Muladhara chakra,
Yes,
In Mataji's book, the Muladhara chakra is the longest chapter. I mean, it's 45
exactly.
pages or something.
Exactly, and many people read it, but no one, I mean, no one, not give it too much attention. And this one can be also making a prayer. So I use it as a prayer, Chris. Going through all those qualities, you know, there are
Right. Yeah.
4 petals times three subpetals, but also Shimataji makes some comments there, and in the comments she add few more qualities. So in the end,
Yeah.
there are about 20,
Okay.
which it's far more than four, we know.
Yeah.
um,
That's good.
so this is my plan to I'm planning, I'm using
Using your intellect.
I'm using my intellect. I'm planning. I don't know what will be, but this is what maybe we will talk sometimes, if you agree.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, yeah. Yeah.
So
Okay. We'll keep in
uh,
touch.
definitely we keep in touch, and I will write to you when you be in London, and if you will have a little bit of time, remember you have to rest, not work too hard, and what better rest is to talk about this kind of stuff.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much,
Okay.
Chris.
Well, thank
Thank
you.
you,
Yeah, it's great. It's nice.
and thank you to all the people who are watching us and give us comments. We read them, and we thank you very much for your interest. And we'll see you some other time. In the meantime, Jai Shri Mataji. Have a good
Jai
trip,
Shri Mataji.
Chris, and we will see you next time. Jai Shri
Okay.
Mataji.
All the best. Jai Shri Mataji.